All right. Deep breath. Right now. Feel that? Not just in your head. Feel it in your gut, in your bones. There is a charge in the air, a hum, a vibration that feels urgent, unsettled, like something is being ripped open and something else is trying desperately to stitch it back together. Like the world is trying to scream and whisper at the same time. Have you felt it? This feeling of being pulled in two directions at once? Like your mind is buzzing with a million thoughts, a million possibilities, a million pieces of information. But none of it quite lands. Like the ground beneath you isn't solid but shimmering, like heat haze rising off hot pavement. It feels like things are breaking, shifting, like old ground is cracking open. There's this constant thrum of conflict, of things coming undone, of old hurts getting kicked up to the surface where everyone can see them. It's not just the news headlines, though trust me, it is screaming there. It's in the air you breathe. It's in the conversations you have. The ones that feel just a little too sharp, a little too loaded. It's in these quiet moments when you just feel the weight of it all settle on your shoulders. You are absolutely not alone in feeling this. This isn't just your feeling. It's the feeling. It is in the collective field right now. That's the energy we're swimming in it. Have you felt it? This pushing, this grinding? Like you're doing everything you know how to do. You're trying to be smart. You're planning. You're putting in the effort, but it feels like you're just slamming into a wall, or maybe like you're trying to walk through thick, heavy mud or even swim straight up a waterfall. Yeah, that feeling. The one where the world or your life or maybe just everything feels like it's just resisting you. Like there's a current, a powerful one, and no matter how hard you paddle, you're not even getting ahead. Maybe you're getting pulled back. You know that feeling, right? Deep in your bones, the frustration, the exhaustion, the quiet or maybe not so quiet thought that whispers, "What is wrong with me? Why is this so hard?" Let's just stop that thought right now, right here. Cut it off at the knees. You are not broken. You are not broken. Hear that? Really let it land. You are not some faulty machine. You don't miss the secret memo on how life is supposed to be easy. What if it's not about your personal flaw? What if it's about the water itself? What if the currents beneath you are so powerful and shifting on a scale so vast that your individual stroke, no matter how strong, feels tiny against it, like trying to hold back the ocean with your hands? That's closer to what's happening. We are in a powerful current, a deep foundational cycle that is activating. It is stirring the waters in ways we haven't felt in a long, long time. It's uncomfortable. It's disruptive. It feels like things are being brought to the surface from the very bottom of the ocean floor. Sediment, old debris, things buried deep, are getting kicked up. And this cycle, this deep shift, has everything to do with two energies that are often overlooked. They aren't the big flashy planets everyone talks about all the time. But right now, oh my God, they are potent. They are essential. They feel like they hold the actual keys to understanding the friction, the discord, the deep unhealed places that are getting poked, prodded, and brought into the light. Not just for you personally, but for all of us, for the whole damn world. We're talking about Chiron and Eris. These two, they've captured my attention for years. They feel crucial right now. I've felt the pull of these energies deeply in my own life. Particularly a couple of years ago, they were hitting some sensitive spots in my own energy field, and it gave me a real raw taste of this combination and what it feels like. It feels like they hold the actual keys to understanding the friction, the discord, the deep unhealed places that are getting poked, prodded, and brought to the surface. Not just for you personally, but for all of us, for the whole damn world. All of it. Think about Chiron, the wounded healer, the centaur. He was a wise ancient being. He knew things. He could heal any sickness, any wound, any suffering in anyone else. He was the master healer, but he carried a wound himself, a wound that came from his own student, a poisoned arrow, a betrayal in a way. This wound, he couldn't heal it. He could mend others, make them whole, but his own core wound, unhealable. This is the paradox of Chiron. The very source of his power, his deep empathy, his ability to guide others through pain is the place he cannot fix in himself. It's the place of perpetual vulnerability, the raw nerve, the spot that always feels a little tender, a little exposed. It's not something you fix and it goes away. It's not a broken bone that knits back together perfectly. It's something you carry. It's part of you. It's the ache that reminds you you're human, that you've been hurt, that life leaves its marks. But it's also the place from which a profound depth of understanding and compassion flow. And then there's Eris. Oh, Eris, the spirit of discord, the one who wasn't invited to the party. Often cast as the troublemaker, the goddess of strife. But look closer at the stories. What does Eris do? She doesn't create the rot from nothing. She doesn't invent the conflict out of thin air. She reveals the cracks. She shows up when she's ignored, throws the golden apple into the gathering, and suddenly everyone's true colors show. Who chases the apple? Who gets consumed by pride, by greed, by the desperate need to be the fairest, the best, the one who gets the prize? Eris doesn't create the discord from nothing. She exposes the discord that's already simmering beneath the surface. And often that simmering is fueled by pride, by the ego's desperate need to win, to be right, to be seen as superior, by the fear of not being enough, masked by a desperate grab for validation or power. Eris holds up a mirror and says, look at what's really going on here. Look at what you're chasing. Look at what is driving this. So what happens when these two energies link up? When the unhealable wound meets the spirit of discord that reveals the hidden pride and strife? It's intense. It's uncomfortable. It brings things to the surface that have been buried deep deep down. Wounds you thought were scabbed over, maybe even forgotten. Eris comes along and pokes them. She throws a golden apple of discord into the situation, and suddenly your deepest wound is triggered. The raw nerve is hit. Discord you tried to smooth over, pretend wasn't there. Eris brings it to a head. And Chiron's paradox shows you can't just fix it away. You can't heal it in the traditional sense. You have to look at it. You have to feel it. You have to find a way to integrate it, to understand it, to live with the raw spot, not to pretend it doesn't exist, to acknowledge the discord without being consumed by it. We are in a cycle where Chiron and Eris are coming together in the sky. They are linking up. The exact moment is May 26th, 2025. At the same time as the new moon in Gemini. This isn't a quick transit that passes in a few days. This is a deep dive. This is a sustained pressure cooker, bringing things to a head. It's like the tide is coming in and it's going to be high. And here's where it gets really, really interesting. These two energies, Chiron and Eris, they met before. They were conjunct, linked up back in the early 1970s. Think about that time. The early 70s, what was happening then? What was stirring in the world? What foundational shifts were taking place? What felt like discord? What felt like collective wounds being exposed? Let me tell you about a few things that happened right around the time of that Chiron-Eris conjunction, the first of three. May 30th, 1971, the exact day that first conjunction perfected. What happened? NASA launched its first mission specifically aimed at Mars. Think about that. The conjunction was in Aries, ruled by Mars. Pushing beyond Earth, exploring new frontiers, reaching for another world. Mars energy, action, drive, pushing boundaries, conflict, war. Eris energy, challenging the status quo, stirring things up, demanding attention, disrupting the peace. Chiron energy, maybe the wound of being limited, the drive to transcend limitations, the pain of being stuck on one planet. It feels like a cosmic echo, doesn't it? A push outward, fueled by a restless energy, perhaps driven by a sense of limitation or an urge to break free from the known, from what felt like a constraint, a collective wound around our place in the cosmos, our potential, our limits. Just a few months later, in August of 1971, the gold standard ended. The entire global economic system changed fundamentally. Money, value, what we base our security on, the fundamental rules of the game shifted entirely. Eris throwing the golden apple. Absolutely. Discord around value, wealth, and who gets what. The fairness of the system. Chiron revealing a deep systemic wound around security, worth, and what we truly value. It feels like it. A system that was supposed to be solid, backed by something tangible, revealed its unhealable wound, its instability, and Eris stirred the pot, exposing the underlying conflict and competition for resources and power. The chase for the golden apple of wealth and security became a free-for-all. And even a little bit earlier, it's still relevant, January 1st of 1970, the Unix epoch. This might sound technical, but it's huge. This is the moment our modern computer timekeeping is based on. Every time you see a timestamp on your computer or phone, it's counting seconds from that specific moment. This was, in a way, the dawn of the personal computing age, a powerful, massive, technical shift that began putting computing power, information processing into the hands of individuals in a new way. Eris disrupting information flow, challenging gatekeepers, stirring up discord around who controls knowledge and access. Chiron, healing the wound of limited access to knowledge or tools, empowering individuals with information. And now, look where that cycle has brought us. AI, artificial intelligence, machine learning, a whole new frontier, rising massive questions about value, about work, about what it even means to be human, about what it means to be conscious. More golden apples being thrown out into the digital realm, more discord about who controls the information, who benefits, what is real and what is not. The wound of not knowing, or not being lied to, or being controlled by information gatekeepers as being poked wide open, the pain of feeling left behind by technology or overwhelmed by it. So we have Mars missions pushing physical boundaries in our place in the cosmos, the end of the gold standard, shifting the foundations of global value and security, the birth of modern computing, changing how we process information and connect, all happening right as Chiron and Eris were conjunct in the early 70s. These weren't small shifts. These were foundational changes in how we explore, how we value things, and how we process information and connect with one another. They planted seeds for the world we live in today. They exposed deep wounds in our collective systems and stirred up massive discord around them. They showed us where our collective pride was invested in conquering space, in material wealth, in controlling information, and they showed us the wounds that came with that pursuit. And now we are back in that energy. We are seeing echoes. We are seeing massive shifts in technology. AI is everywhere, changing everything, raising questions about truth and reality, about what is real and what is fake, about the value of human work. We are seeing huge questions around the value of money, crypto, digital assets, the instability and questioning of traditional financial systems, the chase for new forms of wealth. What is real value? Who decides? We are seeing conflict and discord on a global scale, challenging old power structures and boundaries, exposing deep wounds in our collective humanity and how we treat each other. Wounds around belonging, around fairness, around basic human dignity. The golden apples are being thrown out again into the digital space, into the economic system, into the geopolitical landscape. Who is chasing them? What pride is being exposed in the chase? What discord is being stirred up around resources, power, control, and what we collectively value? What feels unfair? What feels like a betrayal? What feels like a raw, exposed nerve in the world? And through it all, Chiron is present, reminding us of the unhealable wound, the place where we are most vulnerable, most sensitive, perhaps most deeply hurt. This isn't just personal. There are collective wounds being exposed right now. Wounds in our systems, wounds in our societies, wounds in our relationship with the planet, wounds in our relationships with each other, wounds around fairness, around belonging, around safety, around truth, wounds around who is included, who is left out, wounds around history, the pain we've inflicted and received. Eris brings the strife, the challenge, the disruption that reveals the wound. She pokes it, she makes it hurt, she shows us the discord that was always there. Just under the surface, she forces us to look at the pride, the greed, the ego-driven chase that creates the conflict. Chiron reminds us that some wounds aren't meant to be healed in the sense of being erased or fixed. They are meant to be integrated. They become part of our story. They become the source of our deepest empathy, our most profound wisdom, our unique power. It's the place we can help others because we know the pain so intimately. Even if we can't make it disappear for ourselves, it's the place where our vulnerability becomes our strength. It's the place where, having walked through that fire, we have something real and true to offer. This isn't about fixing everything overnight. This Chiron-Eris cycle, potent now and building intensity into 2026, is about confronting what feels unfixable. It's about seeing the discord, the conflict, the discomfort, not as a failure, but as a revelation. Eris shows us where the pride is, where the conflict is simmering, where the unfairness is being exposed. Chiron asks us to be present with the pain that comes from that revelation, to not turn away from the raw spot, to not try to numb it or pretend it's not there, to acknowledge the wound, to feel it, and to find a way to carry it with grace and wisdom. Think about that date echo. May 30th, 1971 was one of the exact conjunctions of the three for each time the planets pass each other. May 26th, 2025 is the next exact one. The first in another cycle of 3, 54 years later. Nearly on the same day. That's striking. It feels like a cosmic bookmark, a deliberate signpost pointing us back to that earlier era of massive systemic change and saying, pay attention. Look at what happened then. Look at the seeds that were planted. Look at the systems that were fundamentally altered. We're doing this again. This is the next turn of the wheel, the next deep dive into these energies. This is a time of recalibration. It is uncomfortable. It stirs things up from the bottom. It might feel like your own personal unhealed stuff is getting poked relentlessly. Old hurts, old betrayals, old feelings of not being enough or not belonging or being fundamentally flawed. It might feel like the world is just fighting with itself, like everyone is chasing their own golden apple, blind to the pain they're causing or the wounds they're stepping on. Because it is. And sometimes, if we're honest, so are we. We get caught up in that chase. We get triggered in our own wounded places. We react from the raw nerve. We project our own unhealed pain onto the world or onto others. We chase the golden apple, hoping it will finally make the wound stop. Make it stop hurting, or prove that we are enough. But here's the invitation, the deep, powerful invitation of this time. You don't have to fight the tide. You don't have to pretend the wound isn't there. You don't have to chase every shiny golden apple thrown out into the chaos. This energy is asking you to look, to see the discord within yourself and out in the world without immediate judgment or reaction, to acknowledge the places that feel unhealed, maybe even unhealable, and offer them compassion instead of trying to force them shut or trying to fix them into something they're not meant to be. It's asking you to see where pride, your own or others, is driving the conflict. Where's the ego demanding to be right, to win, to be seen as best? Where is it? Where in your life is pride causing strife? Where are you chasing something external, something shiny that's creating conflict or pulling you away from your truth, from your core? Where do you feel a deep, persistent wound, a raw spot that no amount of fixing or achieving or acquiring seems to touch? Where do you feel that fundamental vulnerability, the place where you feel most exposed, most sensitive? This Chiron-Eris energy is shining a relentless light on those places. It's not doing this to break you. It's doing this to make you aware, to show you the currents you're swimming in, to show you the places within you and around you that need your honest attention, your compassion, your presence. It's showing you the places where integration is needed, not just a quick fix. It's showing you that The discomfort is not a sign of failure, but a sign of deep, necessary work being done. The shifts happening now in our economy, our technology, our global landscape, they feel huge because they are huge. They feel like they are planting seeds for the next cycle, the next era, just like they did in the 70s. What is being planted now? In this energy of revealed wounds and exposed discord. What shape comes next? And your role in it? It's not to conquer the unhealable or to stop the discord. You can't stop the tide. Your role is to become deeply present with it, to find your footing in the shifting currents, to learn the dance rather than trying to fight the wave or build a dam against it, to observe the golden apples and the chase without necessarily joining in, to acknowledge the wound without letting it define or consume you, to find strength and wisdom that comes from carrying that wound, not despite it. It's a potent time, an uncomfortable time, yes. Raw, absolutely. Disruptive, no doubt, but also incredibly powerful for growth, for honesty, for shedding illusions, and for finding strength and unique wisdom in the very places you once thought were your greatest weaknesses or failures. In the very places that felt unfixable. This is your invitation to step into that awareness, to feel the energy moving through you and around you, to observe the golden apples being thrown and the exposed wounds that surface, to be present with the discomfort and to trust that even in the discord, even with the unhealed places, you are exactly where you need to be to navigate this powerful transformative tide. You are not broken. You are being called to move differently. You are being called to see differently. You are being called to be differently in the face of what is real, what is raw, what is being revealed. Pay attention. The currents are strong, and they are carrying you somewhere important, somewhere real, somewhere that asks for your presence, your honesty, and your deep, deep, quiet strength.